Well, good evening and welcome inside the Edward T. Berry Rink, the home of the UMass Boston Beacons, for some Little East Conference women's hockey action between your Beacons and the Keene State College Owls. Thanks so much for joining us this evening here on Flow College alongside Matt Meisenbacher. I'm Mike Puzangara. We've got a fun one on our hands today. These teams are sitting in 4th for Keene State and 5th for the Beacons, respectively, in the Little East Conference standings. And Meisey, this is a very important weekend for both these teams.
This is the hard part of the season, right? We talk about the beginning of the season, everyone's excited, and you come in, with everything you've got, and then the end of the season, you're getting close to playoffs and conference play, so there's a little bit added motivation there. These games, end of January, early February, you've been through the thick of it in your season, are the most crucial points, because this is where you don't want to have to look back and say, oh, what could have been, what if, had we had our best that night, we let a few points slip away. We just saw it with the men's team having lost 2 against Dartmouth last weekend, games that they really were not that competitive in. So a great opportunity for both these teams in conference play, particularly for the Beacons trying to overtake Keene State, lost to them earlier this year.
Beacons in their home whites, the Owls in their road black uniforms, as we are underway with the Beacons tracking the puck down below their own net. That's Cadence Kelly for UMass that starts in the defense along with Mia Boyd, Grace Lynch, Shay Nolan, Maggie Lynch, the starting forwards, the Beacons' top line today. And the Beaks will go to Veronika Hadamovsky in net this evening. Sophomore from Prague in the Czech Republic. On the other side, the Owls, Emma McNeil, Ellie Patrick, Emerson Spinell, Emily Edmonds, Caroline DeMeo, and Ai Chung in goal. Beacons with some early zone time. Gianna Skrelly feeds high slot, nearly broke for Hansen. And it's taken out. Chipped all the way down by McNeil, and the Beacons will chase. Look to that center ice by Hansen as Beacons break through. Slipped away from her, picked up by Cassidy Morrison on the near side. Beacons leading scorer so far this year. Couldn't generate anything there, and now here come the Owls. This is their top line. Ava Iantoska takes it up the side, well defended by Jenna Fitzsimons for the Beacons. And Fitzsimons right back to it. Thrown in from center ice by Brianna Finke. It's a top line and a Owls group that has a couple high scorers in the Little East Conference. Both Iantoska and Finke, 14 on the year. In the top 10 of the conference, there's a shot from McFadden that's gloved by Chung.
Yeah, 14 points in 17 games played. Not too shabby, pretty close to a point per game. And at the women's level, that's dangerous. Most teams, if you're lucky to have 1. If you got 2, really something that Beacons are going to have to key in on now. Fortunately for them, they both play on the same line, so pretty easy to match up. I'm sure that was talked about over the week of practice. But that is something I would expect the coaching staff maybe to change. You see it with the Edmonton Oilers a lot, right? With Draisaitl and McDavid, you put them together and you have a really elite top line. Not so much right thereafter, and when you split them up, a little bit harder to defend, but you're not maximizing the potential, so always a trade-off.
Turned over in front, and Chung able to close up the 5-hole with Avery Brooks looking for an opportunity. That's always the question. Do you build that, perfection line with your best players, or do you make sure the offense is as even as you can get?
And it's so situational, right? That's where a good coach has to read what's going on any given night and make that change when called upon.
Beacons have had the scoring pretty spread out across their line so far this year. You will see their top line well represented in the team's top scorers as that goes down for icing. Maggie Lynch and Shay Nolan have been productive, and Grace Lynch, since coming over mid-season, has joined them and elevated that line. And then you look at the second line, which is Cassidy Morrison and Emily Hansen, who are both in that top level of point scorers so far this year for the Beacons.
Well, Maggie Lynch in particular. Would love to see her get going a little bit. The transfer from Endicott, 62 shots on goal, but only an 8% shooting percentage. And if they can get her to a level I know she's capable of getting to another gear, this team can really get dangerous.
Good work there by Lynch to poke it forward, get a change for the Beacons after the icing. 3:15 off the clock here in period number 1 as Crepaldi tips it toward goal. Poked away by Chung. Nearly broken the high slot there for Crepaldi, who came down from the blue line. Beacons still possessing their end. Hansen comes up to the circle, rips one straight to the chest of Chung.
Good shot there coming out of the corner. And that's what you want to see from this Beacons team, not trying to do too much. You know, Hansen with a pretty decent look there, works hard out of the corner to get to the slot. Now, doesn't look like much. Chung was able to corral the rebound relatively easily. There was a little bit of danger on the front.
Up to Crepaldi, that's blockered away. Ai Chung, the Taiwanese sophomore goalie for this Keene State team. Started 15 games this year. Chance in front, and it's put wide. McFadden went down to a knee for the one-timer and couldn't pick the right spot.
Taiwan by way of San Jose, California. Now, how she ends up at Keene State, your guess is as good as mine. I'd be very curious how that recruiting process worked. Literally halfway around the world.
Is a well represented in terms of total nations on this Keene State roster. They don't have a ton of players, but you've got plenty of Canadian players. You've got the Swedish Erika Hellstrom in the D-Corps, and then obviously Chung, along with quite a few Americans, as you might expect.
I had you with a math question last weekend. How good are you on time zones?
Oh, not good with time zones. I'm generally pretty good with geography, but were you going to ask the time difference between Taiwan and Boston, Massachusetts?
I was. I'm going to use the Australian Open, which is this weekend, as a reference. It's got to be somewhat close, right?
You would think so.
And those are, you know, almost, I think, a 12-hour difference in most cases. It's got to be around there.
It is 7:04 a.m. local time in Taiwan. Thank you to our brilliant director, Maria Spilios, for pulling that up.
So there you go. They're probably tuned in. A little coffee, breakfast, and an ice hockey game. Not a bad way to start. That could be us in a couple weeks with the Olympics.
Boy, I can't wait for that.
It's going to be great. And I think they finally got the rink in decent shape. I don't know if it's technically finished, but playable at least. The locker rooms, I think, were still under construction, believe it or not.
The video board is the thing that gets me. It's just very oddly small.
Looks like you could buy one at Costco.
14:10 to go here in period number 1. The Owls poke it free, but rather than chase it, Ellie Patrick goes off for the change. She's another international player. She's from Belfast, Northern Ireland. She was actually, as the Beacons take this one up ice, named the Northern Ireland U18 Sports Personality of the Year.
Wow.
I have to imagine we won't see too many more Northern Ireland Sports Personalities of the Year here in the Little East Conference. But here come the Owls on the break, and it's a good disruption as they tried to break through, looking to see who that was for the Beacons, and it was Grace Lynch who came back to just lift the stick of Emerson Spinelli.
Yeah, it certainly was, and really good effort. You know, that's so tough on the back check to not take a hooking call, and it looked close. I mean, the referee was all over it. That stick was parallel for maybe half a second, and she was able to get away with it, so instead of a penalty, it turns into a really good defensive play. She was able to help out on that 2-on-1.
Taken away in the corner as the Owls look to build on a nice spell of possession here over the past couple 30 or so seconds. Tipped forward by Cassidy Morrison. She will win the race, icing waved off. Picks it up below the cage. Comes back out of the zone. Andrick has to hustle to it and does well to get right back on the puck. and look to play it forward. We'll take that face-off at center ice.
Pretty good pace here to start this hockey game. Both teams with a few decent looks. I don't think either goaltender has been tested that extensively so far, but up and down the ice, I think possession-wise, both teams have had it for a little while and seem to be connecting on their breakouts. So it seems to be building, fairly even thus far.
These teams will play again here tomorrow. They also played on November 15th up in Keene, a game that the Owls won 2-1, despite being outshot 40-16. Took advantage of their opportunities. A couple of goals, a third-period winner from Spinelli as that one goes down for icing against the Owls.
I would venture to guess this team a lot like the Beacons in that they like to play with the lead. You know, we've seen this Beacons team get a little bit of trouble trying to play catch-up hockey. Even just one goal, that first goal, it really takes a lot out of them. When they play with the lead, a lot better. They're strong defensively, particularly in net.
Face-off was stuck there for a moment. Comes up to the point for Mia Boyd for the Beacons. Back below the cage with Jenna Fitzsimons. Tries to sneak one through. Rebound is there. Chung makes the save. It's still loose. And eventually Chung covers it up. Adriana Kelsch was crashing that far side. And a good look on a rebound.
Oh, tremendous save. Chung's got to come all the way across. Does the splits in order to get that. Beacons had 3 players in front of the net. I mean, you got to like that if you're Coach Lund. Talk about crashing the net. You can't do much better. All 3 forwards in the right spot. Chung just comes away with a big save.
Face-off one up to the point. Shot from Kelly. Whistles through. The Owls take over, but it's Avery Brooks defending. Poked up ice by Ian Tosca. Dug free. Now here comes Kelly for the Beacons. 11:22 to go here in the first. Below the net with Brooks. Digging for it. Comes back up top for Skrelly to blast a one-timer. Rebound was there in the slot. It just slid away from the Beacons. Now a break the other way, and the corner missed. Brianna Finke tried to snipe one past Hadamovsky. Couldn't pick her spot.
Well, Skrelly came all the way across. That was an all-or-nothing play. She tried to go for the interception. Breakup. Didn't get it. And that really opened the door for a pretty decent scoring look. Fortunate the Owls missed the net.
Banked up ice, but well defended by Keene and Emma Wiseman to prevent Avery Brooks from crashing through. Lynch trying to keep this puck in zone, which she will. Taken away, Nolan pressuring. Now it breaks for Lynch once again. Deeks past one, backhand blockered away. Another good save by Chung, who has been tested early on. This is Maggie Lynch for the Beacons. Tries to go 5-hole. Chung makes the save and gets to the rebound.
Well, the Lynch girls are going tonight. Not related, but starts with 14. And we've mentioned her name early and often so far in this first period. A little bit of a turnover she creates, and then sure enough, they continue to forecheck. Maggie Lynch, number 2, off the wall, all alone. Tried to go 5-hole. There's a little bit of a rebound, but Chung got both.
Up top for Cripaldi. Chung makes the save. Wasn't on target, but did stick it aside. Made 39 stops in that win the Owls had over the Beacons earlier this year. Thrown back in by Alexander. UMass with most of the early pressure here past the midway point of this first period. Morrison lost it in her skates. Taken away by Patrick, who will throw it in from center ice. Glove down by DeMeo. Beacons will once again take over from their own end. Just one shot on goal so far for the Owls compared to 9 for the Beacons. Nice take by Hansen at center ice. Has her first shot blocked. Chung kicks away and Hansen over to the rebound. It's taken off her, and now here come the Owls. Charging up ice is Finke, leaves it up top, blast, save, rebound is loose in the slot and cleared out, and Jenna Fitzsimons takes charge. Picked right back up at center ice there by Grace Bazin.
Fitzsimons can chip that pass. She's got a 2-on-1 with Kelch. Just needed one more move.
Bounding around, Fitzsimons once again takes in the corner. Beacons go up ice. Adriana Kelch impeded on her way through. As Fitzsimons bats this one down. Up top, Cripaldi, one-time blast was blocked in the legs of Lorelei Norman. Briggs below the net for UMass. Digging free, pokes it back up to the point for Ondrick, and it deflects up out of play with 7:49 to go.
Beacon's anticipating just a little bit better than the Owls right now. You can see really in all three zones, just kind of have a better feel for the game. The Owls still trying to find that gear, and that might be just due to the fact, they're still getting off the bus. I've talked about that over the years. It is difficult on the road, getting that same warm-up, getting the heart rate up in time for puck drop. A little bit easier. That's part of that home ice advantage we talk about. Seems like Beacons are taking advantage right now, but we're still scoreless.
McNeil and Boyd collide in the corner. Probably hit some traffic on the way down from Keene.
And it's always cold. It just seems like no matter what, the bus is always just a little bit chillier than you would prefer.
Well, kind of hard to make it a warm bus when the wind chill here in Boston today was down in the negative temperatures.
Yeah. Well, then you always get the one guy who's next to wherever the heater is, who's too hot, who cracks his window or her window and freezes everybody else off.
Sounds like the kind of thing you would do, Mizey.
You think I'm that kind of? Every now and then.
Really good pressure from the Beacons below the net. Chung, first save, rebound was there for Nolan. It's still loose. It's under a player here on this near side, and then Shea Nolan goes in and digs it back out. Second try for Maggie Lynch is saved again by Chung.
Yeah, she's had some good ones, holding her team down right now.
It's dug free, and here comes Finke. Let the rest of her team get the change, spins off a defender, banks the pass off the feet of Nolan, who inadvertently took a chance to break away from Lynch. There's a shot, and it sails over from Maddie D'Souza. Banked toward the bench. Lynch had to be careful, and it ends up being an icing, but fortunately got the call from her teammates that the puck was there and she had to slow down on the change.
Yeah, and the referees are talking about it. This was really close to too many. There's going to be a conference. Referee definitely saw. It was right there. The puck was there. They were mid-change. Referees talking if it was inconsequential to the play, but the puck was right there. This is close. I think they're going to let him play on, but yeah, worth the conversation there. And I don't want to say got away with one, but we're right on the line.
They were playing with fire, but did not get burnt. Under 6 minutes to go here in period number one. We are still scoreless between the Beacons and the Owls. Kick to the near side for Ray Alexander to toss down. Turned over below the cage. Hansen. Right back to the stick of Alexander. Hansen battling. Digs it free, held by D'Souza. Beacons hold the zone through Ondrick. With the pressure the Beacons have had in this period, you would love to capitalize and take a lead to the room here in the final 5 minutes.
Yeah, because, the Owls only have 2 shots on goal, but they've missed the net a couple times from the slot. You just don't want to play this game, and you see it oftentimes. Anybody who's been around the rinks long enough, it's not always the team that has the shot volume. It's the quality of the opportunities and your efficiency, your ability to convert.
That shot missed the mark from Patrick. Beacons collect in the slot through McFadden, who had to battle with a couple of Owls and can't clear. Ondrick, near side, banks it out. That's by everyone, and down for icing with 4:32 to go.
I think so far you got to like it, though, if you're on the Beacon bench. You know, a lot of good things you're building upon here, and 15 shots on goal, so you've been busy in the offensive zone. Chung's come away with some good saves. Make no doubt about it. They've had some good looks that have been turned aside. You continue to press here. You mentioned with just over 4.5 minutes here, try to get that lead into the room.
Beacons bank it free from the face-off. This won't be icing. They can get that change. Picked up by Kensley Good. Chip down ice. Good right back onto it. Owls can't break out cleanly. They make Chung have to play from right in front of her net. Cadence Kelly for the Beacons. Banks it in. Breaks chasing. Picked up by Good. Turned over. Case into the corner. Takes a check. Comes back up top. Beacons hold the zone. Good shift here from the UMass fourth line. Holding the zone for a while. Now it's taken away. And Ian Tosca is slammed to the ice. This will be a penalty coming up. It will still be an opportunity for the Owls, but Finke couldn't get a shot away, and now we will get a penalty against UMass with 3:23 to go.
Yeah, Kelly's going to go here, you know, and this is one in the men's game, just a perfect play. Puck gets by her, she takes the body. You know, women's game, you're going to get called for, it could be a rough or a check. Just hard as a D. You know, that's one where you have to pivot and go. In the women's game, you can't, if you get a little bit physical, I think they'll let you get away with it. It's when you take the body fully, the penalty gets called. So we'll see the Owl power play for the first time today.
Power play that's 11.5% on the season for Keene. Kelly in the box for checking. Brought up ice by Norman. Owls hoping to get set up. In the power play, up top, Emily Edmonds. D'Souza holds. Plays to the far side circle, and there's a big block from Gianna Skrelly, and the Beacons clear it down.
This is one, if you're the Beacons, you're happy to kill off, right? You just got a defenseman, got a little too physical.
Beacons force a turnover. Hansen walking in. Emily Hansen scores! A short-handed goal to put the Beacons up 1-0 with 2:33 to go.
Perfect shot placement. There's nothing you can do as a goaltender. And there's an area above the shoulder and next to the helmet. Take a look, folks, where this shot goes. You got to get that shoulder up in such a hurry. Nearly impossible. You got a shooter like Hansen comes in and puts one there. You're asking a lot to make a save. Short-handed goal. Beacons 1-0. Great shot from 28.
Beacons still on the penalty kill, but what a turn in momentum that is. Rather than Keene having a chance to take a lead against the pace of play here at the end of the period, the Beacons take full advantage of the opportunity. Finke coming through, her shot deflects up into the netting.
This penalty kill becomes ever more important now. You've got that lead, that shorthanded goal, so 41 seconds left still to kill. And 2 to go in the period, but again, great shot placement from Hansen. Just putting that in a spot where they're really tough for a goaltender to get to it.
Fourth of the year for Emily Hansen for the Beacons. As UMass clears it down, there's just 31 seconds left on this power play. This is their top unit on the ice as Brianna Finke takes it through. Circles back. Pass across one time from the point, and Hadamovsky saves. Came off the stick of Ellie Patrick. Final seconds of the penalty. We are back to 5-on-5. Owls possessing in zone. Pass to the slot, picked off by Fitzsimons. Fitzsimons up ice, banks it in, chases it down herself. Pass in front, still loose, and no one can get there. Comes up top to Boyd, has a blast, big deflection in front, and a good save by Chung. There's Aisling McFadden right in front of the net, unimpeded. It's McFadden again. This time, the shot is impeded up into the netting by a stick.
Yeah, you mentioned McFadden in front. She got a piece of that. That had a chance to go. Chung got a piece of it as well. This Beacons team is on the same page right now. You got to like this first period, I think, if you're the coaching staff. Up 1-0 on the shorthanded goal, but a lot of the small things that don't end up on the score sheet, I think the Beacons are doing well right now.
Face-off win from Nolan. Lynch had it slip away from her stick. Top line on the ice for UMass. Shot from the neutral zone. Chung deals with, and now the Owls look for the breakout. They can't take it cleanly. Good pressure here from the Beacons on the forecheck. Turned over right in front. Maggie Lynch couldn't find the angle. Now has to circle back. 21 seconds to go in the period. Lynch is tripped up. Nothing coming from that. 12 seconds to go here in period number 1. Chip toward the slot, no one home. Up top for Crepaldi, has a blast, it's blocked. 5 seconds to go here in the first. Nolan below the net, pass in front was blocked, and that will do it for the first period. Well, this has been mostly one-way traffic, Mizey, and the Beacons take the lead on the shorthand goal. Looked for a while like they weren't going to capitalize, but a great play by Emily Hansen puts them up.
Yeah, one of the cliches that coaches will throw at you over the years is we want to start fast, right? We want to have a quick start. Well, this is what they're talking about. Beacons came out from the puck drop, and I think checked a lot of boxes. They look to be the team that's anticipating better. They're connecting on more passes. They seem to be breaking out better. I mean, all the little things that lead to a victory the Beacons had right there. Now, it was 0-0 for a while. Great individual effort from Hansen off the wall, unassisted, shorthanded to give her team a 1-0 lead. The shot volume, it looks like it's going to be 18 for the period. So, again, lot of good going on for the Beacons. They walk in with a lead. Owls, a little bit of a gut check here. It kind of got dominated in the first period. You're on the road. Your goaltender's playing really well, so you've got something good going for you, but they've got to find another gear. They're getting outworked a little bit, especially along the walls.
1-0 UMass as we take a break here from the Edward T. Barry rink. When we come back, we'll get you stats in the second period here between the Beacons and the Owls on Flow College.